Yay!
It's almost time.
All right, stream is started, so it should be
Stream is started,
so it should be. And testing, and testing, and test. Yep, hold on. Okay, I had to mute everyone's audio because it was coming through. So, I'll be back in just a moment. There shouldn't be any audio coming through at this time. I'll just cancel title for today. There we go. All right, I can hear you guys. What am I doing? All right, I'll be right back. All right, can you hear me right now? Okay. Cool. Right. Okay. I'll finish my cookie and then we'll get started. All right. So, okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. 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 Hello, everybody.
Dad instead, like I was supposed to. Dad instead, like I was supposed to. Dad instead, like I was supposed to. Dad instead.
Kept checking, and it was like, nope, it's
kept
fine.
checking,
Okay,
and it was
can
like,
you hear me? Yep, nope, it's
kept
fine.
checking.
One moment, everybody. There's a weird problem, and I don't know what it is.
Bringing the chaos. Bringing the chaos.
It's Tech
Bringing the
Friday.
chaos.
The remix.
I think I found it. Y'all there?
Yep.
Are we here?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Huzzah.
I had to mute a thing that wasn't muted.
Mm.
Yeah. That was disruptive. All right.
Is it really a live stream without a tech issue?
Right?
Yes, there are 3 amazing producers on this call. How long will it take us to troubleshoot the thing?
Fair. Because I will come up with some nonsense every time. 110% of the time.
Absolutely. And if we're lucky, it's the opener from Samurai Jack.
Yes. True. Though I was during the game last night, I thought of another thing that I used to do. I'm trying to remember what it is now.
Oh, yeah, I feel like, yeah, you're right. Or muting David's mic would definitely be a first step in a troubleshooting routine.
Fair. That's fair. That's 110% fair.
All right. Had to double check captions there because they didn't want to go for some reason, but now they did. Y'all, when you change your setups, things happen.
And sometimes they happen when you don't even change your setups. Sometimes you just turn on your computer and it's like, nope, none of that works anymore. It sucks to be you.
Oh, I shut down an entire stream last Friday because, like, I spent an hour on stream trying to troubleshoot it. I restarted the stream 3 times, still couldn't get it to work. Shut it all down, went and flopped into bed. Did not move.
All right, so we're going to act like nothing at all happened.
Nothing happened.
And I'm just going to restart the show and say, welcome, everyone. And then when I edit this will be the point we start at. And then, nothing has happened.
You didn't see anything.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to Tech Friday right here on twitch.tv/DC Lasair. I'm DC. Imagine that. You're on my channel. Go to dclasair.com to find all my things. I'm producer, moderator, streamer, all many, many things. And today, I have the excellent duo of Chaotic Wholesome Presents with me, Kay and David. Let's go in order I have you on the screen. Kay, introduce yourself to the peoples.
Hey, well, I am Kay Damphir, Kate Purcell, that purple-haired menace, whatever you prefer. I use she and they pronouns. I work in video games by day, and I do TTRPG stuff every chance I get, along with my awesome partner, who I think you're on this side. Yeah, this way. David, who the heck is you, and what the heck are we doing here?
Listen, I'm here and I am president. Hi, I'm David, and this is the Chaotic. No, it is not. No, I'm one half of Chaotic Wholesome Presents. I have the incredible fortune of being able to take a lot of credit for all of the hard work that Kay does. But I write, produce, and run I write TTRPGs and modules. I help Kay do whatever Kay dreams to do. I do production, and I have shown up in a game or two at one point or another, and Kay and I together do a bunch of charity stuff, which I am equally excited about.
Yay! Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited. And
thank you for having us.
A couple months ago, I was on their show. You should go check it out. It's probably on their YouTube, I think.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So go check it out. It was an amazing time.
And it was a treat to have you. And now we get to be here.
We discussed hats.
We discussed hats. Yes.
Discuss hats. Just enabling back and forth forever.
Oh.
I unlocked a core memory.
That is the deep lore. That is, yeah.
All right. So we're here to talk about tech. Amazing. The show is called Tech Friday. We're going to talk about
Imagine
tech.
that.
How can this be? I don't know.
Got to keep people on their toes sometimes.
Yeah. But recently, and in another couple weeks, you'll be doing a charity stream and have done a charity stream thing.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about the tech behind what you do. And first, I want to start off with you're doing a charity stream. What was the event called again?
Magnificent Pride, because we got to do it in collaboration with Candace the Magnificent.
Follow
And it's
Candace
Pride
the
Month.
Magnificent, y'all. Yeah.
Imagine.
All right. So how far out do you typically plan for these?
Well, never as early as I would like.
Right.
Dave and I, we do a Christmas one shot every year for charity. We have already discussed potentially what that Christmas stream will be, who will be on it. We are kind of continuously scouting. Some of them can come together very, very quickly. Some of them take a lot longer. Magnificent Pride came together a month and a half before, David?
Yeah, 6 weeks. Candace came to us 2 months before, and then I think like active casting happened 2 weeks later.
Yeah. And it was an impressive Candace. So Magnificent Pride, honestly, David and I can take very little credit for it because Candace and Jason were like, we want to do the thing. Can you kind of get out of our way? And we were so happy to. We helped with the stuff, they couldn't or didn't want to do. So David, Domo Jason, or Domo came in chat, made all the overlays, did the graphic design, which normally that falls on me. So it was like, oh, I don't have to do this. Cool. Candace did all the casting, pulled together an awesome spreadsheet, figured out table chemistry and all of that. And all David and I really had to do was run production and help amplify their socials. So, and we did all the back end for the charity. So we set up the Tiltify. Candace and I split finding sponsors 50-50. So yeah, this one was about 6 weeks of make it happen.
Yeah. And like there are other things that we've done and are currently doing that take a little bit longer. Like we have some original stuff that we've been working on at this point for years that will eventually. And so like, we have to ask ourselves where we draw the line between generating the thing that we're going to run versus pre-production, because so often they're very hand in hand. Like Kay talked about our Christmas charity games, and the idea we had for our last Christmas charity game came before the year before's Christmas charity game. And we'd already talked to people over that summer, like 2 years before, about it. And they're like, yes, I want to be a part of that. And so it's like, is that developing the module or is that pre-production because we had cast attached? So it's kind of like tough to draw that line, but like we really like dig in the guts of like our charity games no later, or our charity Christmas game no later than like October 1st. And we've also thrown stuff together like faster. I'm trying to think of what our fastest game was.
That was the Into the Deep Mothership.
Yeah. That took.
There's a reason chaotic is in our name. Like we have structures and we know what we're doing, but how it comes together, it's a little different every time. We're a decently well-oiled machine, but you never know what part's going to come out when.
Amazing. All right. So you get your people, your things, and because, again, tech show, we're going to talk about it a bit. Now, you didn't make the graphics for this one, but when you usually make graphics, what are you using?
So, I was fortunate through my job, I had access to the Adobe Suite, and I really enjoy using Photoshop. I was a working artist for a long time. I worked for DeviantArt, so Photoshop is very familiar to me. Unfortunately, Adobe took the "Don't be evil" off their wall, and I am, it makes it both difficult and very expensive to support them. Fortunately, I also recently was laid off, so lost that access. Fortunately, it's much easier now than it was because now there's Photopea, which is an entire Photoshop, the entire suite in your browser. Previously, I have used GIMP, which is an actual program. The name is just incredible. I know a lot of people use Canva. I never got the hang of Canva, but Photopea I can navigate very, very well. So that the overlays and graphic design usually falls to me. So yeah, that's generally what I use now.
All right. And during the course of your normal shows and your charity stream work, what are you using to broadcast the Tuesday show or your Baldur's Gate 3? I'm going to guess OBS or some variation of that.
Absolutely. OBS with mini tips. We use a slightly different process than you do, but mini tips learned from the master DJ Lasair himself. I was really fortunate in that one of my previous jobs was working at Red Bull Gaming. So I got to work with like the team that set up for Ninja streams, on location streams and things like that. So I was given a lot of really great production tips and had some insights through all of that. So yeah, OBS, we've bounced between, when it comes to video conferencing, we've bounced between several things. We've used Video Ninja. We've used Google Meets. We're currently using Zoom so that we can have cleaner audio for VOD. Unfortunately, we found that I really want to use VOD Ninja more, but it is so unstable for some of our users, like especially our folks over in the UK. And there's a couple Aussies that I played with where it just has no desire to behave. Which stinks because I want to use Video Ninja so badly. But right now we're using Zoom, and that allows us to export the audio in separate files so that I can then go do some post-processing and clean up for the VODs, which I know I'm jumping ahead of what you're asking, but that's how we pipe the audio and video into OBS.
Excellent. And are you using any bots or anything to help your stream? You have a Coltsum bot on your stream?
Oh, well, we have the Full Rubber bot.
Oh, the Full Rubber bot, right. So what powers Full Rubber bot?
We use StreamerBot.
Excellent.
Again, with many tips stolen from the incredible DC Lasair. We also got to steal a lot of tips from my good friend, Mr. Live Producer, who is actually an alpha tester on StreamerBot and helps develop a lot of their coding and programming and stuff. So he helped us out build, like, we have a just a silly little redeem of Pathfinder Party Up. So if you click a button, it will actually pull together, it will generate a Pathfinder 2nd edition party for you. And it'll be like, it's species, background, and class. And it will assign active chatters, assign a species, class, and background to every single character, and then do a little Mad Libs, like this is the adventure they go on. Which, very simple in output, very complex in coding.
Extremely complex. Just all the options and like different directions that it can go, all like programmed in, is a lot of work and really cool. And then people just like, you know, hit a redeem and make it pop up, and it's a cool throwaway thing in our stream. But a lot of time went into the back end of that.
Yeah, and we also, because that your little vertical chat has always thrilled me. So we just recently added Caster Labs.
Cool. Yep.
To make that work. I know Herb found a way to make the vertical work with, or the horizontal work with StreamerBot, but I couldn't figure that out yet. So I'm like, Caster Labs for now until we dive deeper.
This chat down here now is the StreamerBot thing that Urban Bohemian uses. So it took a bit to set up, but I figured out what it needed, and then I'm like, ooh, I get to select my font and everything.
Ooh, yes, that is nice. Yeah, I saw it. It's very clean now with a little hint of a drop shadow to make sure it stands out. It's very nice. Very slick.
Oh, yeah, but Caster Labs is a good solution. They are running my chat so I can see comments from both YouTube and Twitch.
StreamerBot does that as well.
Apparently, it does. The only problem I have with StreamerBot is to run a command, I can't just type it in. I have to click it and find it. With Caster Labs, I can just type it in and StreamerBot will accept it. So,
oh, that's cool. Yeah, I had, when I first figured out, it took us forever to find the combined chat feature in StreamerBot. And when he did, I'm like, oh no, everything is broken because I'm typing in a redeem, or I'm typing in a command and it's not happening. Oh no. It's like, no, you just can't do it through that chat.
Yep.
All right. And as you're bouncing around scenes and things, do you use something like a Stream Deck? Maybe?
So I have a little Stream Deck.
Yay.
However, we actually transitioned mostly to the StreamerBot deck. If you log into it through your Discord, you can get access to that, which is great because if David's running production off of his computer, he can give me the URL and I can have access to change scenes, emergency buttons. If he has to run to the restroom and the cast wants to go on break, I can hit the button without having to worry about that. And also that saves us, because we do split production. I run some things, David runs something. It saves us from having to double up on another piece of equipment. But the StreamerBot deck is very nice because it does allow you to do pretty much everything that a Stream Deck does. Steam Deck, Stream Deck, it's a problem. Like, what? Steam, why did you have to make that decision? I understand why you did it, but why did you have to do that to me?
The other thing that's nice about like the bubble or the buttons is, so like I have additional pieces of hardware at home, and including my phone, including a spare computer, if I had a tablet or whatever. And I haven't done this yet because I'm very like locked in and I'm in front of my computer anyway. But if, Kay is doing one of the like co-working streams or just like pops in somewhere, then I can be in my room or I could be elsewhere. I could be halfway across the country and Kay can send me a URL and then I could pop onto whatever device I have and be moderating and be the emergency switch no matter where I am. And so it offers a lot of flexibility for me, especially if I'm not like, ass and seat in front of the computer, and it makes it so that, like, if Kay is playing Pokemon or whatever, or there's a midnight release of something, I don't have to be in my office chair at midnight or in my office chair at like 9 o'clock in the morning. I can be in the kitchen doing dishes, which I hate doing, but here we are.
Excellent. Yeah, there's a Tech Friday with Urban Bohemian and I where I just gave him the control of my entire stream, and that was a lot of fun. I'm also
that was a great episode.
Thanks. I'm also going to be using that when I do the Gunpla streams, because I have a MacBook Air over there. That setup's in front of me, so I'm going to be pointing this way. And on that, I'm going to have, the little window that is the camera, and then below that, I'll have the HTML deck, and then next to that, the Twitch chat. So I can talk to you all while I'm clumsily trying to smash pieces together. And is there anything while you're streaming that you just kind of really love? Hardware, software?
I mean, there's the obvious and forever love-hate relationship with OBS. Like, that's just how it is. We've tried really hard. So one of the things that I was aware of pretty early on, and became even more aware of because a couple of the channels that I was playing games on, that I was in shows on, collapsed under the cost of production. And especially up until this month, I was fortunate enough to, have a job where I had some extra cash to invest, to spare. But I wanted to make sure that budgets didn't balloon, that I was able to keep things in check. So again, when I lost access to Photoshop, it wasn't like, well, now I have to figure out, because one of the channels I was on straight up died because they could not afford the Adobe Suite. And whatever video conferencing fancy they were paying for, like all of these. So there are a lot of really great tools out there. I would love to use Riverside, but right now we just can't afford it, right? So is there a little bit more work with syncing things? Absolutely. But it also means it gives us more money to pay performers, to pay Jason for the overlays, to pay for artwork for upcoming things. So one of the things we use is Pixel Chat, which is free captioning, which is great. It's Chromium based. You send someone a link and it works. It's got uses the Google API, so it's no live captioning is perfect, but it's pretty darn good. It knows pretty much all the Pokemon. Like, we've tested it. That was David's favorite thing for a stretch. Oh, yeah. Every guest was like, absolutely, what's your favorite Pokemon, to see if the Pixel Chat could get it. The other thing that we use is Bardly. Now, I also subscribe to Tabletop Audio because amazing music for that. But we wanted a way to be able to give music to players in a way that was not disruptive to them, because some people, music really helps. Some people, music is distracting. Some people like some of the music and don't like the music we pick, and we didn't want to force that upon people. So Bardly.io, it's $5 a month, and it has a library of content. You can use it for free. It's a more limited library. If you pay for it, you can upload your tracks as well. So we support Tabletop Audio, and then we upload a lot of those tracks to Bardly. It will play one song continuously on loop until you hit the next, until you move to the next song. You have to do that manually. There's no go through the playlist yet. I hope that'll be a thing eventually. You can pull together playlists. So before every session, I'm like, okay, when we go here, we're going to have this. When we go here, we're going to have this. And I just kind of have that mapped out. You can add tags, so I can, if all of a sudden players decide, no, we're murder hobos and we're going to fight, I can just go into Bardly and click, like, there's a battle one, and then you can also search tags. So if I go into tags and hit battle, I can find all of my custom uploaded battle combat music. And what's cool about that is I control it through a browser. You send a URL to everyone, and it plays through their URL. They can adjust the volume individually or just not open the tab at all. So we found that really useful. There's a Caster FM that does the same thing, except it's way more and is much more mainstream music and not Bardley. So that's who we currently use. We're always looking for suggestions, though.
One thing that, so two things. One, to also answer the question, like, I am perpetually in awe of the robustness of StreamerBot. And there's this whole, there's always a trade-off. The more flexibility and function something has, the more complicated it is going to be to use and to set up. Like, it's like Android versus iOS. Like, I know people who love their iOS phones because they're just like, press a button, it does the thing. And I like something that's more robust. I want to be able to sideload things. I want to be able to move icons around. All of the customization is important to me as a phone user. And with StreamerBot, StreamerBot is always a headache for me. But I will never, ever complain about the headache that StreamerBot is, because it allows us to do so many things, and it allows so many things to happen on the fly. Like, for instance, every game in Magnificent Pride, we had so many giveaways that I was able to update the messaging on our giveaway command, in seconds. And we could go from one giveaway to the next seamlessly without having to, and I forget what my second point is, and it doesn't matter. It's gone.
The other thing I'll throw out is David and I tend to run very theater of the mind when it comes to games. However, when we do have maps, our personal preferred one is Owlbear Rodeo. It is free. It is great. It has gotten... I almost liked it better when it was very simple, but it has gotten more robust recently, which again means there's a little bit more to navigate, and I'm still fighting that learning curve because I don't use it that much. But
we're going to be using it a lot more soon.
And then for Emergency Power Podcast, which is part of the Chaotic Wholesome family now, we have shuffled them in under our little wing. Adam, our GM, really loves Foundry. So they run Foundry for that. And actually, Adam doesn't do music through Foundry. I wonder if he'll like that. But that's a rabbit trail to chase while not on stream. Foundry, again, is incredibly robust and so much more than I can handle. So much more than I can handle. But again, that is the preferred of some people. When it comes to campaign creation and tracking and things like that, David and I are still kind of hunting for what we want. I'm kind of side-eyeing Obsidian over there. Right now we have a mess of Google Docs that are mostly organized.
Thanks to Kay.
When someone titles them and puts them in a folder.
So I have gotten better about that.
You've gotten so much better.
And I bought Scrivener a long time ago, before the pandemic. And when I tell you 6 or 7 times I've sat down, opened up Scrivener, and started going through the tutorial, because I have heard countless people say how great it is for plotting things out and keeping track of things. And then after 15 minutes, my eyes glaze over and I go back to the extremely long, untitled Word document that I have all my stuff in. Also, shout out to every online hosted email program, especially Gmail, because there are 2 different D&D campaigns where all of the notes are in a draft of an email. And the advantage of that is I can access it anywhere, and it's fine. But also, I would not recommend anyone else do this. No, don't do it. It works for me, but Kay is also accustomed to me going, hold on, I have to find that, and then scrolling for a solid 5 minutes.
But he does find it. There's a method to it, and it works, and it's great.
Be more organized.
I've had multiple friends be like, "Hey, word anvil." Steph, who runs our home game, as well as Billy from the Chalice game. Billy was like, "I have finally figured out World Anvil, and it's amazing, and I'm going to teach you all of the tricks." And I'm like, "Please do," because I look at it and my eyes cross. And David and I have a lot of lore that we gonna have to be tracking.
Yeah, World Anvil is a lot. I have decided to split things. One of the services I use just for general world building is called Legend Keeper. I like it. It's like $9 a month. Very reasonable. And it's wiki style. It kind of operates a little bit like Notion. So if you kind of have an idea of Notion, you'll kind of get what's going on here. And it just lets me fill in the data. And then to keep track of campaign things, I'm switching over to Trello boards.
Ah, yeah.
Which are, free and just text. So
I know a lot. There was I read an entire like workaround life hacks thing about if you put all of your documents, images, and everything in Google folders, then you can cross-link from either Trello or Obsidian without having to pay, so you can have access to everything without having to pay the thing. And I'm like, that's... Yeah, I was lead editor at a gaming blog, and we ran all of our assignments off of Trello. Trello can be incredibly powerful.
Yep. And then finally, my last thing is a plug for myself, because I use my own templates I made in Notion for production. So if you do the AP production template link, that'll take you through pre-production to post-production. You copy it. It's all free. There's a free tier to Notion. And you can change it however you like. I no longer care. But yeah.
Actually, I didn't even think about this, which is bad of me. I really should have. We have a new tool that we just put out. It is still a little bit in alpha testing. But one of the focuses of our channel is safety. I don't know if this will let me post links. Am I cool to post links?
Yeah, you got VIP. You can post links.
Okay, cool. So David and I on our Patreon, it's free on our Patreon, but right now you have to be a member because we are still doing some very final testing. But we made a group or campaign safety lines and veils tool based off of Google Sheets. So you go in and you copy it. You send a page to every player, and it has drop downs on what colors are going to be. And then all the GM or safety officer or whoever is doing it does is they collect all the sheets, and there are tabs, and you copy paste each sheet into a tab and then hide those tabs. It automatically compiles everything, and the master or I deliberately did not put the word master in there, and then I said it. And then the compiling doc will show the highest safety concern first. So red, then orange, then yellow, etc., so that everyone can at a glance see what are the boundaries for this. And then there's spaces for comments, and there's lots of spaces for players to input individual things. So for me, as most people know, I got a real bad dog phobia. So I'm like, dogs are an orange for me. I am so happy for everyone else to have a dog. Just please don't expect me to pet it. So that's a thing I'm very proud of. David and I have been working on this for quite a while. I thought I was going to have it out before PAX East.
Right.
I just got it out.
And a big thank you to because a lot of people collaborated on it. It's a big thank you to all the people who have spent time on it. And both Kay and I have worked on it, but Kay has put in a lot of time. And a huge shout out to Mimics and Misfits, who helped me. Well, I had an idea. He managed to do the very integral coding that made it happen on a hidden page. So thank you, Matt.
Excellent. That is great. I'm clicking the link so it comes a little bookmark for me later. Yay! There it is.
Yeah. And then Matt also, so far, the only error we have found in testing this was one that Matt found. So, Matt for the win.
Excellent. All right, and we've kind of been talking about this, but you both said to me that you wanted to bring up doing production on a shoestring budget.
Yeah, we, again, this can be a very expensive hobby in terms of time and money. And again, I didn't want to have to stop doing this because I couldn't afford a Photoshop subscription. So we talk a lot about, I actually have a budgeting sheet and we keep track of everything we do because we host a podcast. So we spend $200 a year on Captivate FM to be able to push that out there. We pay for Zoom, which is not an inexpensive thing, so that we can have separate audio tracks for VODs. Like I said, we figured out a lot of inexpensive or free ways to get around things. We don't have our Bardley subscription going all the time. We turn that off if we're not running APs, and we have playlists that are played through OBS, with tabletop audio playlists that are played through OBS that just shuffle and random so that we don't always need that. Obviously, we want more dynamic for combat. The other thing, and I hate saying this with every core of my being. I am a community manager, and we are in an era where short form content is king. And I don't like that. I do not like the tiki-talkies. David likes the tiki-talkie. I do not. I will watch the ones he send me, and then I close the app. It has no appeal for me. I am very sorry. I'm sure there are so many of my friends are making great content, and I'm just like, I'd rather watch you do a 3-hour stream. Like, I am just that person. But short form content is king, and taking the time to really clean up your VODs, and make sure your audio is good is all really, really important. And most people are like, well, I need Photoshop for that. You do not. You do not. DaVinci Resolve is free, and it has a paid version. I sprang for the paid version because I'll get into that. But everything you need to make short form content and or edit your long form content is free under DaVinci Resolve. The only things that you get for paying, and it is a one-time $300 payment. That's it. That is such a sound investment, in my humble opinion. What you get out of that is it will auto-generate captions for you. So it will go through and do all the captioning. So when we ran Body and Soul, which was an all-black exploration of the gods of Africa moving through America, a la American Gods. Really beautiful, really heartfelt game that I am so honored that we got to host and produce. And one of the gods was Anansi. We love Anansi, the trickster spider, but Pixel Chat decided that people were putting an arm around a Nazi, not Anansi.
Yep.
So we were not using the auto-generated captions. So I had to go in and put a little square of color over where the captions were and then regenerate them all and clean them up and do all of that. So that is where that came in really useful. The other thing that the paid version does is it will process the video when it's encoding at the end. It will process it off of your GPU instead of your CPU. So processing is much faster, which, again, for a one-time $300, I'm like, that is worth it. It has so many incredible plugins. I can retroactively go through and add noise gates. I can retroactively add compression. If there's it's wonderful, and it also does sound effects. So I'm going through and doing editing a podcast, and in case y'all don't know, I make monster sounds a lot when I GM. I make a lot of monster sounds. And so often I will just cut out the monster sound or cut out whatever sound effect I made with my face and put in an actual sound effect. But sometimes it was like, oh, that monster sound was actually, let me add a little echo to that. Ooh, and I can add just a little bit of distortion to my own audio file, to my own voice, and it sounds completely alien. So it's very powerful, and all that's free. Like, you can do all of that free. So you don't have to pay for the really expensive thing. Emergency Power, we record off of Audacity, and that's free. I know Adam edits through Reaper, which I know Reaper is powerful, and I think it's a one-time $60 payment, which is an excellent tool. But you can also edit through Audacity, and I edit through DaVinci Resolve because it's got basically the same tools.
Yep,
that's my rant.
DaVinci Resolve is for the win for me. So that helps out a lot.
And yes, make short form, y'all. There are so many APs. There are so many shows. There's everything. You are fighting with every video game, every movie, and every TV show for people's time and attention. If you don't clip your stuff, and if you don't make short form content, you're not going to get the eyeballs you want. And that sucks, and it's terrible, and I hate it, but that's the reality we live in.
And you can also say live stream your game, the whole thing, and then cut it down for YouTube or something like that.
Exactly.
And when you're live streaming, when I do conventions and I do my producer panel talk, I tell people all you need is OBS. It's free. You don't need anything else. And with OBS plugins, you can do a lot of amazing things. But OBS handles like 98% of what anyone would need. Unless you're, like we talked about Mr. Live Producer, unless you're his level, and then maybe you need a different tool and stuff where you actually need that 2% of things, but OBS is going to work for you.
It used to be a lot more restrictive, but plugins have happened, and it's just wonderful now.
OBS 28, when they added the ability to get the separate audio tracks from different things, amazing. You don't even really need to find a audio mixer if you don't want to. I recommend audio mixing software if you can, but you can do all that in OBS too. I
will give a word of warning. I used to use Voicemeeter and virtual cables, and my computer, I couldn't figure out all the issues I was having. I was like, my motherboard might be failing. No, it was Voicemeter. As soon as I uninstalled Voicemeter, all my issues went away. And it sucks because that's one of the better tools out there, and it just destroyed my computer.
And also, for people who are getting into streaming and they don't necessarily have like the most robust hardware, and the bar to entry is also a lot lower if like you're a gaming streamer and you have a console, so you could just get a capture card and like stick it to your kind of jank PC. But when you're getting into like the more advanced stuff, like you want to be running as few programs as possible. Like you really don't want to be running like 6 different things when OBS does all of them, because that just all those threads tax your computer.
Yep. And as David learned, like even just sometimes running OBS and the capture, OBS and your Zoom or Google Meets, whatever, all of that does drain. And David and I don't actually do that many animated overlays. I know how to make animated overlays. I've done it. And even though that animated WEP file with just that, it's a small, tiny file, but when you're running it for 3 hours, it starts to drain your resources. So we're like, we can make it real pretty and we can use image slideshows to make stuff move.
And like the biggest indicator of this is, so obviously we record, thank you OBS, we record all the streams that we do. And I will go into the recordings folder that I have set. And for an AP or for a video game, it is so much, the files are so much bigger because they have so much more information in them because of all the things that are moving around, compared to like our talk show where you just have the overlay swaps a couple of times that it's talking heads. And I've seen a like 7 to 10 times difference in the file size for a similar stretch of time, just because there's so much more going on. And then, you know, I'll peek at, I'll pop my task manager up and have a peek. Also, I don't know why task manager takes so many resources, but that's a whole different. Anyway, turning on Taskmaster slows down my computer.
Taskmaster.
Task Manager. Oh my God. I really, oh man. Because first I was like, that's what it's called, right? No, it's not called that.
I mean, that's the British show.
What is it called? Yeah, and then I was like, what is it? Is that the British show? And now they have the Australian spinoff, and people have been complaining that the Australian spinoff isn't as good. And then people are complaining about the current season of Taskmaster, and like some of the people aren't as funny, but like they did that like a couple. Anyway, doesn't matter. Task Manager. But I'll have it open and I'll be looking at my GPU. I'll be looking at, there was a stretch where Kay and I both were like on the struggle bus in terms of our internet. And so I had that open and I was actively monitoring network usage. And I would see like the frame where the internet just stopped. And then I would wait a second and then wait for and see if it, and then it would go back up. And I'm like, okay, it's okay for now. It's holding on for dear life, but it's okay for now. And like you can see how resource hungry like certain things that you're doing are, to the point whereby I have a very robust machine, and you'll see me play a game and I'll be like, oh, this isn't working, and then I'll turn down the settings because OBS and other things are using so many things that I gotta.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, it is not an inexpensive hobby to get into. And really, the first things you should invest in is a microphone. Get a good microphone, because as much as everyone's like, the overlay's got to be pretty and it's got to and no, if your audio is bad, no one's going to want to. And after your microphone, invest in lighting, because if your lighting is bad, it doesn't matter how good your webcam is. Then you can look at cameras and other things. Obviously, audio interfaces are great, but like, do all of that first before you start splurging on all this other stuff, because again, OBS is free. And the really unfair thing in life is that to be good at something, you have to suck at it first. So suck at it while your equipment is still not great, and learn how you handle all of that, because you're going to have tech issues. No one's ever had tech issues live on a stream, right?
Never.
And if you don't know how to handle that, and if you don't know how you handle yourself under that kind of pressure, then your stream stream's not going to work most days, because if one thing goes wrong and then you can't stream, you're not streaming because something goes wrong every time David and I do a thing.
And to add on to that, your microphone is more important than your voice. And I know that sounds weird, but just yesterday I was watching a YouTube video, and the person speaking, they were so generic, so uninteresting, like nothing about their voice like is the sort, like they weren't Keith David, okay? They weren't out here doing Keith David Mark J business with their with their voice, and even their content wasn't necessarily like great, like what they were saying, how they were saying it, et cetera, et cetera. And they had 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, and so I'm like looking at this channel, I'm like, why? And it boils down to the audio quality was so great and so crisp that even this generally uninteresting voiced person could churn out a video that sounded great, and then people could sit on the subway or sit on the bus or listen to it in their car, and it sounded really good, and it had like, you know, the comforting ambiance that you can do with like compressors and stuff. But all of that stuff starts with your microphone. Like Kay sent me a mic some time ago because of my home setup. I wasn't able to like get it going, and now you know, it's, and like I still have more work to do on like my audio setup, but it's night and day, especially when it comes to recording, of this guy versus this guy. And I bought this headset because it had a great microphone. And that's the other thing is like, you know, Kay and I both are very focused on pinching pennies where we can, and you can get, so like, you know, like a headset like this starts at $200 or like the and I can get the same audio quality from $100, a $90, $75 headset. And so it's better to spend the $75 on the headset, or just use like the old like earbud things that plug into a thing, or like your not iPods. What are the
AirPods.
the AirPods? Yes, I don't use Apple products, so I don't know what's hot in the streets right now. But like, get the dinky $17, $25 Bluetooth headphones and spend the rest of that $180 on a good microphone, and you will already be leagues ahead from, you know, where a lot of people start. Like, and another thing Kay and I do is we love to look at smaller streamers, people who have 0, 1, 2 people streaming, and be like, okay, so what's the difference here? And I can tell you that like streamers where their microphone is like the thing that on the headphones that come with their phone don't necessarily grow. And I guarantee you that a lot of like the TikTok and like YouTube Shorts people, where you see them and like they have the string, and I don't have like a string, like, oh, I got a string, but where they're like talking into, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, they're not talking into the thing. They have a microphone. They have like a real microphone, and they're doing this for like the goof, for the meme. And some of them are like record voiceovers. So like, yeah, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of getting a microphone and investing in that first, and then like doing that work even before you get into like compressors, your voice, and then all the other stuff.
Yep. And if you're, we're going to take a break soon, but I want to get this in since we're talking about microphones. If you're looking at mic, go to YouTube and type in the model of the mic. There are plenty of videos on how these mics sound like. The only advice I usually give on selecting a microphone is if it's $50, be very careful. Make sure you've done research. They can sound good, but a lot of them, to me, just don't. Once you get into $100 or so, like you're getting the pod mic that Kay is using currently, or
this was a little more than that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You got the. Gotcha. Or even the Elgato Wave 3, which comes with excellent mixing software. Mm-hmm. You know, look at those things. But if you can't, just go to YouTube and find out what sounds good and how they make it sound good, too, if there's that as well.
Yeah. The really important thing, any mic can sound bad if you're talking into the wrong part of it. Some mics you talk in to like the front, and some you do the side. Look up and how close you need to be, because that's really the number of people where I'm like when we got David this mic, David's like, this mic sounds terrible. I sound so bad. I'm like, get it close to your face. And then it was like, night and day.
Yep. Absolutely. Which is why the arm is important. Because there's a base. There's a base that it could just sit right next to your keyboard and everybody could hear you type. Everybody can listen to you type. Or you get the arm and put it right up in your
But yes.
Yeah.
Look up. There's so much good advice, and often the common knowledge of like, oh, this is the best mic out there. It's not the best mic out there. It's not the best mic out there.
Okay, so since we're talking about microphones, and I know we got to go.
We got to go to break, so don't go too far.
Right. I worked for I did contract work for a company that makes audio devices you've heard of, and I'm under an NDA, so I can't say who I worked for and the product I worked on. And I did a side-by-side test between that and the Blue Yeti, and everybody knows about the Blue Yeti. It's at $329. It was half the price and sounded better. And I'm not saying the Blue Yeti is bad. And DC can tell you, it has told you a lot about all the different microphones that are out there, all the different price ranges. But what you see your favorite streamer using, the expensive top of the line stuff, just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's good. And two, you don't have to use that stuff to get a high quality result.
Exactly. And the biggest thing about audio you're looking for is sound absorption in your room. Cut down the spaces that cause the echo. So that can be as simple as hanging up a thick piece of cloth, like a rug or a blanket or something. Get freestanding rods, put even a photography thing, a curtain over it, that can help. And I have sound panels here and behind me that really cut down the echo for this mic, and they're fantastic. But you don't have to get sound panels either. You can just you can build your own. You can get sound absorbing panels, like a big lot of them. But then you do have to build your own frame for them and stick them on your wall.
Yeah, I fortunately, when my office moved, I got some free sound panels, so those have been wonderful. But y'all, you can use stuffed animals. Stuffed animals are great sound absorption, and they make a cute background. Treat yourself.
Just adding a rug. If you have a wood or cement floor, just put a rug down. That will help immensely. And stuffed animals, as long as it's cloth and kind of thick. Like if you wanted to build a wall of stuffed animals, which would be great, you could do that.
Pikachu helps me.
That's why you choose Pikachu.
And as someone who's gone from a room with a stone floor, don't ask me why the floor was stolen, to a carpeted room, there is a big difference. And granted, I had a lot of stuff in my room to like deaden sound, but even that, and then like the shape of the room changing, lots of different things impacted my raw sound before like all the software got involved and helped me out a lot too.
All right, with that, we are going to go to break. So,
yay!
Get up, stretch. I'm going to run some ads. It'll be about 5 minutes or so. And then we'll be right back with you. So see you all then. Bye. Be back soon. Okay, break time. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Tech Friday. My guests today are Kay and David of Chaotic Wholesome Presents. Crit Award nominated Chaotic Wholesome Presents, may I say. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So that was a surprise. We were literally in the middle, like just come back from break on production on one of the Magnificent Pride charity games. And David forwards me an email and is like, it's like, hey, we tried to message you before, but we think it's gone to spam. You're nominated for Best Overlay. Do you want to accept it? And I'm like, oh, yes, because y'all, Jason Wooldridge, incredible. Again, does the best. So we did a game with Herb, Eugenio, Candace, and my friend Pan Stellar Encore, and it was a My Little Pony game, and he made the most glorious overlay. Jason's overlays are always fire. And it was nominated. So we got to tell Jason, like, hey, it's our channel, but like, you're the one. You did this. Stuff is done. And so we're like, awesome. Yes, thank you. And so we got to tell that, and we're like trying to produce and like not be too excited to distract the players. It's like, no, we got to keep the. And so I like send the thing, and I'm like, yes, we will accept. Thank you. And they send us another one. They're like, by the way, you were also nominated for Best Twitch TTRPG Channel 2 years or older. Do you want to accept that one? And I'm like, what? Excuse me? Because David and I did not set out to make a Twitch channel. I streamed video games mostly, and
Pokemon mostly.
Yeah, a lot of Pokemon, a lot of Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is what got me.
I revised a lot of Animal Crossing,
but also a lot of Pokemon.
The chokehold that Animal Crossing had on the entire planet during the pandemic.
Look, we got Doominal Crossing out of it, and Doominal Crossing was everything I needed.
Still the best mashup in history.
Definitely. But we I was finding I was applying to a lot of places or to a lot of games and not getting accepted, or I was getting accepted and then the tables were not, I don't want to say not very fun, because that's not what I meant, but it was definitely a vibe. There were certainly not a lot of people that looked like David or I at those tables. The vibe was off, and it just wasn't hitting right. At the same time, multiple friends were saying, they were feeling not good at some of their tables. They weren't being fully seen, or they weren't being fully respected, or safety tools were not being used or were being ignored. And I just kind of like got my back up a little bit about, well, I stream video games. How much more difficult can this be? David and I have stories we want to tell.
More difficult.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like, yes, the most dangerous question in the world is, how difficult could it be? How much could it cost? And so I'm like, let's do it. And Godplane happened. And we kind of just kept going. And so it was not the thing we set out to do, but the more we did it, the more important it felt. Because again, I watched multiple channels just explode because they couldn't carry the cost of production. And I watched multiple channels melt down because players were not being treated with respect. And people were being ousted from the community. And it was like, at first I had a vision of like, okay, well, we'll do these games. We'll do all these open calls. We'll find, and it just kind of, at this point has become like, I don't think we want to deal with open calls. I think we want to work with people, because at this point we are so privileged and so lucky to have worked with incredible people in this community. And they all come with like, oh, this person is great, or you should work with this person. And then you end up with magnificent pride tables with Brian and Eugenio and Daniel Radford and Jeremy Cobb and Dylan, Super Dylan. And just, we are so lucky and so fortunate that we have the privilege of just being able to be like, actually, we're going to tell the kind of stories we want to tell, and we're going to have the people that we want to tell those stories at our tables. And that is just, again, the privilege that comes with that is immense. So we thank you all. And if you have not voted in the Crit Awards, please do. Like I said, it's so easy for me to promote that we're up for Best Overlay because Jason is amazing, but we're also up for Best Legacy Twitch Channel, which is just really weird. But like, it would, awards don't mean that much, but they make it so much easier to get sponsors. And also, as David knows, I suffer from crippling imposter syndrome. And every so often, that just helps. But Candace the Magnificent is nominated for Best Costume and Best Chaosium Player. Christine Color is up for Best Costume. Our
Pan's
friends... Pan is up for Stellar Encore. Pan, who's incredible, is up for Best Paizo Player. Robin, Captain Krail is up for Best GM in Paizo. Their partner Mo is up for best song that was inspired by the Atom List. Like, there are so many people. There's so many. Go vote. Go vote for people. Go vote for systems. If you like a person, if you like a channel, if you like a thing that they do, go vote for them, because I promise it means a lot. And it's really weird to be asking people for votes, but you also have to do it.
A closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Thank you.
So yeah. Thanks, y'all.
And go vote. The voting's still open for a while yet. So
till the 7th.
Till the 7th. So
the window is closing.
Window is closing, but there's still time.
There's still time.
So go vote right now so that you don't have to think about it later.
Exactly.
After this.
After this.
Or
open another tab. But keep this one.
Keep this one.
If you can only have one tab. And Lord knows I have more than one tab. Yeah,
who only has one tab? What kind of monster? What kind of self-controlled, focused human being could do that? Also, go vote for DC at his Ko-fi.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go to my Ko-fi, whatever you want to say. It's right there. Okay, my Ko-fi literally goes towards bills and me getting food. So if you can donate, please go do that. If you can't, just hit the follow button down below. That's fantastic.
Hey, Vancouver by Night.
Vancouver by Night. Hello, welcome on in.
Definitely follow, and then after you follow, go find somebody who has money and slide the Ko-fi page over it and be like, click this button and put in your payment details. Don't ask me why.
David will hustle. David is a powerful hustler.
And I do want to talk about I do want to to dovetail off of what Kay was talking about in terms of people we've met and how we do our casting. Kay is the point person in the community. Everybody knows Kay. And so there's been a big shift in how we cast, not just in shying away from open casting calls, but 2 or 3 years ago, we would be putting together something and then Kay would be like, well, there are these people. What do you think? And I'd be like, I don't know. They're people. It's fine. Kay obviously knows what they're doing. And we've always been extremely fortunate with our casting, but especially over the past year, my input into casting has changed a great deal because of people we've met in the community. And there are definitely people that we have considered and that we're considering for future projects where I've gone, hey, so-and-so that we worked with, I've been talking with them and they really like working with this person because I've gone and asked them, I'm like, hey, you were on this show with these 3 different people. What do you think of this person? And they'll turn around and be like, oh man, that person is amazing. Get them in here. And Candace is great about that. Candace is great about these are the people I've worked with that are amazing. I'm going to work to give them more opportunities. Yes. And so just like in any industry, networking is important. I hate the term networking because the connotation of it is self-serving and impersonal. But be a great person and hang out with great people and better opportunities will present themselves. Because, you never know who's talking about you. You never know what they're saying. And most people who think chaotic wholesome, they see K, but I think a lot of people underestimate how much input I have and how much influence I have on like bringing my own, not just commenting on whoever Kay suggests, but bringing my own recommendations to the things that we do and the people who are part of it.
But getting back to a more techie thing, I'm sure you've talked about these, DC. I cannot imagine that you have not talked about the Pixels dice.
Oh, yes, I like them. I haven't. Yes. I don't think I've mentioned them yet, but they are quite lovely.
Glorious. So, for those who don't know, you can now buy these incredible dice that charge wirelessly and light up, and you can set how the light's set for each face. You can change the color, but you roll your physical dice, and it Bluetooths in to D&D Beyond and Roll20. It's supposed to do Foundry, but Foundry doesn't currently connect up. I hope they fix that plugin, because the dice in Foundry hate me. The dice in Foundry are evil. Whoever programmed that RNG needs to get out. But yes, and I backed. Gosh, did you do the Kickstarter or did you just purchase?
I didn't do either of those things. Oh. At the time. I couldn't back the Kickstarter, so I will have to. When I get some money again, I will have to invest because they do look cool, and I am a dice goblin, and I need all the different dice that one can get. I backed these at the Kickstarter before the pandemic. So when my dice finally arrived, I lost my mind. I do have a referral code for 30% off. If anyone has a mighty need like I do. But what I did not expect was that, yes, I expected it to roll and to show up on screen. I did not expect that it did the math. And that's what's so cool about it is you click like, okay, I'm going to roll a performance check, and you roll it, and it pops up the number and then does the math, and it's like, this is what you rolled on screen. And I'm just like, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the crazy things about like Baldur's Gate 3 is the ease with which you click on a thing, it rolls a dice, and then all the bonuses and just the visualization of it is really robust, really adds a lot to the gameplay. And comes across very differently than I have a charisma bonus, and I specialize in this, and I have proficiency, and it comes across very differently. So like all the things that remove all the barriers in trying to like anybody who's been playing TTRPGs for a stretch of time has seen not only how the Wizards of the Coast player sheet has evolved, but how all the other player sheets for all the other systems have evolved, because we're all trying to fix the problem of going, wait, what's my proficiency in? And so the fact that the dice do the math for you, the fact that D&D Beyond, like you click the digital dice and it's just like bump, really makes it both more satisfying and more engaging.
But even then, so I've spent a lot of time in Google spreadsheets. We talked before this about I have a living shiny Pokedex that is filled out via spreadsheets. And yes, it is color-coded. What are we, animals?
Right.
We're Pokemon, not animals.
We're Pokemon, yes. I play Stardew Valley with multiple spreadsheets. Like, spreadsheets are very important to me because I cannot math, and I figured out that if I do one little string of math, then sheets will do the math for me, and that is so wonderful. I play Starfinder and Pathfinder, y'all. And Starfinder, especially since it's still V1, there's a lot to keep track of. There is so much to keep track of. And I have ended up building character cheat sheets in Google Docs to the point, David has seen this one. I have built one where I was playing a swashbuckler. So if I have panache, I have a lot more options and my damage comes out differently. So I built it with conditional formatting. So if I check the box that I have panache, it pops up what my options are. And if I uncheck that, it goes blank. So I know where to look. Do what you got to do to make your characters memorable. I don't know if any of you watched Amy Carrera, who was the voice of She-Ra, who was in Exandria Unlimited, and Exandria Unlimited was her first time playing D&D. And so she had an entire cheat sheet, and she posted a photo of this the flow chart of what she needed to do with her character in combat. And I'm like, this is great. Don't be afraid. If you look at Daggerheart, they have a little side card that slides out and it tells you this is what these things are. This is what they do. Don't be afraid to make those physical or digital. These are games. They should be fun. And yes, I have a great deal of fun figuring out, I like crunchy systems. I don't really enjoy rules light. There is nothing I realized because I had to rebuild a character in a crunchy system. And I was like, I'm using the mechanics to make this character that already exists in my head, right? This character is here and the mechanics are going to reflect who this character is. I don't have to build something around the already existing rules of this playbook. This is my character in this setting. That makes me happy. I like that crunch. I don't always like crunchy combat because, again, I'm not good at math. So whatever game you like, figure out the way to make it easy and fun, because the point is for it to be fun. And you're not going to show off and feel cool and have a good time if you can't remember the cool stuff you can do.
Exactly. Yay, digital tools.
Digital tools are great. And if they don't exist, build your own. Like we did with the, like I said, we couldn't find a group collective Lines and Veils tool that we liked. I've seen a whole bunch. I played a game at Sword and Key. Sword and Key was 100% the inspiration for this. They had it Google Docs based and a similar format. But then one person had to take all the sheets and manually update them. Update one master document to reflect all of that. And I'm like, we can do better than this. It's Google Sheet. We can figure this out. And that's what I was like, Matt, help me. And we did the thing.
Yeah, that's why I made my Notion templates. I'm like, how can you keep track of productions? No one's, yes. Well, I'm going to do that. So I did.
Find the tools to make your life easier, or build the tools that make your life easier, or do what I do and complain to Kay, and then Kay figures it out.
I do want to circle back up to a point that Rex made. On the earlier point, people talk, especially who is cool and who is not at the table. Be kind, word gets around. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is nothing more powerful in this space than your reputation. And if you are just... And I'm going to say this because Candace said this to us after the last game of Magnificent Pride. Look, y'all, I love the Atomless. I am a Starfinder nerd, and I dove deep into the Atomless, and I'm like, these people are really cool, and they tell really good stories, and I really like these people. And of course, it's the TTRPG circle, so things are small. I met them, in passing at a PAX, and they're nice and lovely. And the next thing I know, they're playing... Dylan and Robin are playing a game on my channel. And I'm like, that's wild to me, right? Wild. It is so cool. And after the game, Candace was like, or it was during the game, Candace was saying this in chat. Candace was like, David, Candace, and I had played a bunch of games. Candace and I go way back 3 years now. And Matt, Mimics and Misfits, invited David and I to a game, which real life happened, scheduling. I couldn't make it. We couldn't make it. Still very sad. I still need to play another game with Matt. But scheduling. And I'm like, we can't make it, but Candace is amazing. You should invite Candace. And so he brought in Candace, and in that game were Robin and Dylan. And Robin and Dylan played 2 sessions with Candace and we're like, so Candace is the person we need for this new project that we're working on. And so then Candace got to play with them. And then because Candace became friends with them, Candace was like, I'm running this production. I'm going to invite them to be on it. And so it was like, Candace, like, we do all we can to help each other. When we talk about don't pull up the ladder behind you, help people out. It is so important that you help other people out, because Candace was like, it is full circle. This is, I only met these people because you introduced me to Matt. And now I get to introduce them to you because this is the community we're in. So if you are only out for yourself, you are not going to get very far in this. Yeah. Pay it forward, help people. And I always say there is a difference between, like, don't talk shit, but also don't take shit. There are people who will not behave, and you do need to talk about that. But that is very different from, I just don't like that person, so I'm gonna. So yeah, call out bad behavior, but also be aware when maybe this is just a personal thing, and maybe you don't need to go airing that.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about imposter syndrome, oh, totally me. Every day I'm like, was I good enough? Did I, is it all right? And that's tough to deal with too. On that level.
I will not call out who they are because I don't know if they share this publicly. But an incredible GM that I know and admire and respect so much was like, I get nervous, stomach ache, want to vomit nervous before every game. And I'm like, but you're incredible. Like, I have paid money to you for your you are amazing. So I feel like there are two types of people, those who have imposter syndrome and those who will never have imposter syndrome. And I actually kind of find that often the people who have at least a little bit of imposter syndrome are kind of better people because they don't just walk around and go, I did the thing. It's great. No retakes. Bye. Because if you're always chasing, how can I be better? How can I be more inclusive? How did everyone have a good time? How can I make people more comfortable? You're going to be a better GM. You're going to be a better producer. You're going to be a better person. Now, don't take it to my level where, you just beat yourself up, but think about other people. The world exists outside of yourself.
And to tag on to the end of that, like, always be getting better at what you're doing. Always be learning. Because, like, especially like with like the tech stuff, Kay will go, okay, look, there's a new software you gotta use. And I'm always like, great, good. Not necessarily because I'm thrilled that like yet another like thing I gotta like fire up or whatever. But if I sat there and went, oh, well, what we were doing before is fine, and I could just, click these buttons, and it's not only does it keep your brain young, but the reason that, all those years ago I got good at, troubleshooting PC stuff is because I went through iteration after iteration after iteration of all these problems. I've learned a bunch of different interfaces from a wide range of different programs. So it's a lot easier for me to go, oh, this is a new program. I see how they laid out things. This is probably going to be here, and then go find that thing. And it's really important to, like, even if the one particular thing that we were learning isn't going to be super useful or super practical or whatever, even if you just abandon it and leave it behind, the sort of like in between knowledge that you get with that, the critical solving skills that you get, the familiarity with figuring stuff out, are all useful skills that you get. Like you were talking about, what was the program that melted not just your computer, but like everybody's computer?
Voice meter.
Voicemeeter, yeah. Like, we don't use Voicemeeter now, but there are lessons that we learned from using Voicemeter that we applied to the things that we do now. And it's important to always be doing the work of trying to be better, whether it's interpersonally, whether it is working on your delivery, working on your performance. Because like even me, where I'm not necessarily like in a lot of APs, I have worked on developing the way I speak. And you could go back 2.5 years. And a long time ago, I was a professionally trained actor. I can speak pretty well, but you can see how I speak has changed and evolved over time because it's something I'm actively working on. And so make sure you're actively working on all the things that you can be, including being a better person, because it will pay dividends.
Indeed. One moment.
No problem.
Sorry, I'm still a little sinusy, so.
No, New York State's trying to kill me. I get it. Like I've had a sore throat for at least 3 months now.
Oh. All right. So thank you for that. I do want to touch on one tech thing.
Please.
Before we go. I know we go down multiple rabbit holes. That's fine. Well, we might swing back to a few more before we're done. That's great. But one thing I learned just this week, and I have no idea why it took so long to know this, but I saw this randomly on video. In OBS, you can take your docks, which all the things that say audio mixers, sources, scenes, controls, those are all docks, and you can slide it into another dock, and it will tab that dock for you, and you have tabs. I'm like, I can make my thing so much cleaner. How did I not know this before? Who didn't tell me? And
it was me. I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. I assume you know everything about OBS. That's the problem. No one is going to come and go like, DC, did you know? Because DC's going to be like, yeah. Do you know who I am? I'm the producer to the stars. DC will never say that, but in my head, DC has that much swag. No, the thing that I told David to do, which actually changed our production, was I'm like, when you've got your preview, you've got your screen of what's going on. I'm like, take the audio dock and put it beside that. And then you can watch your audio in real time. Yep. And if you're on the break screen and you see the bouncy of the actors who are supposed to be muted, you know. Or if someone's just barely moving the thing, you know you got to turn them up. It was life-changing.
The thing that broke my brain, the OBS thing that I learned, is, Jason makes the overlays, kicks over the overlays to me, and is like, hey, this is how they're supposed to look. Don't fuck him up. He's not mean. He's very nice. But he gives me a preview, and he's like, hey, I'm envisioning it looking like this when you put this on top of this, on top of this. And I'm like, dope. And so I slap it in. I get people's faces and slap them into the places. And every so often, there's one, because OBS will snap to a thing, like an element, a window. And I'm like, hey, like, somewhere between where I'm moving it and where you're snapping to is where I need it to be. Could you stop? And OBS is like, nah, buddy, I'm snapping it here. And then Kay sees me struggling, hearing the curse words. And they're like, so like once it's there, you could use the directional keys. And I was like, no, you can't. And Kay's like, absolutely, you can do it. And when I tell you that I pressed the up arrow and it started going in like itty bitty increments to like the fine tuning that you could. Ooh, also studio mode is the best thing ever, because I'm not sure that anyone has ever had a live production that didn't need midstream adjustments and not breaking everything and being like, everybody's stuck. And I've watched other like TTRPG channels do this, where they're like, there's something going on with the overlay. We're going to go to the be right back screen. We're going to end the stream, fix it, and then come back. So yeah, like the arrows to move the
David's face with that was the same face when he learned that you can drag your finger across the space bar to go back and forwards in a text on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah, I just found out that magic like a month ago myself.
See, I am such a Photoshop nerd that I'm like, no, I select, because at first David's like, no, that doesn't work. I'm like, no, select the thing, click it. And he's like, okay, I clicked it. I'm like, do you see the outline? He's like, yeah, I see the outline. I'm like, press the up button. He's like, okay, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I was furious. I was ready to throw a Molotov. I was ooh-wee. In that moment, I was ready to party like a French protester. Like he was, ooh, yeah. But I'm glad it's there. I'm so pleased. Just yesterday I was using it.
One more thing I want to bring up because it will be happening soon. So in the new beta of OBS, there is a H.264 setting, and I can't remember the name of it right now. But anyway, you set that. It allows for chapter markers on the video, and then you can import that into Resolve and see the chapter markers.
Can I attach that to a streamer bot? Because I need that. I need air.
Yeah.
You will be able to. Again, it's a Stream Up thing. Stream Up is the company that makes the vertical chat thing that attaches to Streamer Bot. And I will post this in chat. So you can use this now, but probably just wait till the new version of OBS is out. And the guy who makes it has said there will be Streamer Bot and Stream Deck compatibility with it. So you can do that. And you can make chapter markers in OBS, right? The basic function is you just set up a hotkey for it, and you hit a couple buttons, and there is now a chapter mark on that video. But you gotta hit the right kind of H.264. It's out of my mind what one it is to select, but there'll be an option to go for it. And once you
continue.
So you can just keep making chapter markers, right? And then this program here that I just posted in chat will allow you to name them, set up naming conventions for your chapter markers, allow you to make notes and export them as an XML file or a text file.
This changes the game.
And do all sorts of things.
You know how I went on a rant before the break about how short form is king? Short form content is everything. If you go, my Discord has a clips channel of nothing but clips, so I can go bang clips. Just so I can then go back and be like, this is where, and I have to then go through the video with the edited audio that's so nice and nicely balanced, and then I have and figure out, is this where this clip your favorite streamer stuff. You have no idea how much you're helping them.
You're saving hours and
literal hours
and hours.
Yeah, so to insert them into the actual video, you do need OBS 30.2.0 and above. It's hybrid MP4 is the file type you're looking to record to.
Okay.
And once you do that, so bookmark that site, and when the new version of OBS comes out, it gets out of beta, smash these things together, and it'll still be developed. There's going to be... if you follow the guys, Stream Up is done by a guy called Andy Lippy. And if you follow him on YouTube, he's going to put up tutorials on, there's already one on the basic functions of this, but there'll be tutorials of how to integrate this with StreamerBot and Stream Decks, in the coming weeks. So keep that in mind. Go watch his videos because he's the creator of it. Who's going to know better, right? And I will also do a talk about it at some point too. let's see. Are there any concerns about recording that? OBS warns me every time I change off MKV. No, because hybrid MP4 does the things that an MKV could, where you could pause a recording with MKV. Now with the hybrid MP4, you can do the same thing. You can pause.
Brilliant. That was going to be my concern.
And go back. And so you can, if you're using the hybrid MP4, you can change off of it from MKV. If you want, there is still the MKV option, to do that, and you can remix. But if you can use the hybrid MP4, it'll keep all the audio tracks separate and all that stuff. Yes, I have tried this. I made a video in my OBS. I made chapter markers. I put it into DaVinci Resolve, and it kept all my audio tracks as they were, because I use like all 6 of the audio tracks. I have the audio going to separate things, and yeah, it keeps it all. Yeah, great.
Delightful. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Right?
Now if we can just find... Here's what I wish, y'all. I wish VOD Ninja had a paid tier. I would throw so much money at VOD Ninja if they had a paid tier that was just a little bit more stable and a little bit more European friendly. If I could just find something that would do exactly what VOD Ninja does, but more reliably, I would be done. I would be the happiest TTRPG streamer in the world. Maybe someday. Just
for the benefit of the audience, I am trying Video Ninja for this stream. It's not a thing I normally use, but I'm like, well, I haven't used it in a while, and I can add the Meshcast thing in it. So we have, if you add and Meshcast at the end, it goes to a server and comes back down more like a Zoom thing. So that's part of the link. However, the guy doesn't charge for that. And I'm like, start charging for this. But because he's like, yeah, if you're using 2 to 8, that's not a big deal. But when you get above that, when you get 10 and above, that eats into a lot of money for me. And people are abusing that. And I'm like, well, okay, I got, there's 3 of us here, so I think I'm okay. But set up a tier, buddy, please.
Right.
I would throw money at that immediately. Zoom would be gone. Zoom would be out of my life. Yeah, David and I were just playing with Inuacaster early, like literally before this call.
Inuacaster, huh?
And every time, like, I love it, but every time David changed his settings at all, or if I stopped recording, David would get kicked.
Oh, wow.
And I know it's super easy.
Yeah, it frees up on me, yeah.
Yeah, it's super easy. Like, the nice thing about it is it does sync. So, like, if David drops in the call and then rejoins, he'll be synced correctly in the audio. But, like, I'm like, there's things that are so close to what I want, and they're not quite there. Also, Inuacaster has a delay between audio and video. It's not massive, but it's enough that I do feel like I see it in productions. Or at least when I review video. I'm also a little bit of a snob about audio video sync. I will admit.
Yeah, and surprise bonus tip, if you didn't know, in OBS, you can do it if you're putting things through into OBS. You can actually, there's a setting somewhere, again, out of the brain, but you can add a little delay or to it so everything matches up. So that was a bonus tip. What did you want to say, Kay?
I was going to say the thing that I also really like about Inuacaster is, especially for podcasts, but I'm sure you would find it, they have a podcaster studio mode where you can see the person, like it's either their icon or their video if you're doing a video, but it's all the audio channels and the wavelengths, and you can see people. And so like David got on, was like, oh, look, I can see I'm loud. And it allows the person to tinker, like you see your own. And then the producer can see them all lined up. So it's like, oh, that person's lost audio. And I know that now. It's so good.
Excellent. All right. We're gonna wrap up here shortly. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any like tech thing you're looking forward to? It doesn't have to be stream related. Like you found a clock that transforms into a robot and that's your favorite thing, or anything in the TTRPG space you want people to take a look at?
Tonight, Candace is doing Philly by Night. It's going to overlap with our
Baldur's Gate stream.
But that's great. Go watch Candace perform because Candace is freaking amazing. And
I'm trying to find where that's going to be, but just go follow Candace on Twitter.
Yeah, Candace will tweet it. Like, if you're not following Candace, please do. I will say we have shameless self-promotion. We will, on the 17th, we'll be doing the final game of Magnificent Pride. It is going to be Monster Hearts with a truly incredible group, including Cadiosaurus. And we had to postpone that one because life, scheduling, TTRPG stuff. You can also find me on the Candlestick Crimes with Candace the Magnificent, B. Zelda, and sorry. Feel bad. I cannot remember the last person's place, but that's over on 12-Sided Stories. And it is a hilarious Sword in the Serpentine. We are really bad thieves, y'all. We are very bad at being thieves. But it's very fun. It's a literal sinking city, and I may go face first into the swamp in the first episode. In a very nice jacket. Yeah, David, anything? David wants to rant forever about another Crab's Treasure, but we cannot. We do not have the time. David also wants to rant about Elden Ring.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, look, there are a couple of games that I have opinions about, but the thing I'm looking forward to most is Kay and I are developing like a couple of different things. And along with the things we're developing, we're also developing a lot of tools. Like, we're taking Kay's approach to spreadsheets and applying it to character sheets. And we're exploring different organizational tools for like lore and stuff. I'm dusting off my copy of Scrivener. And then there's also there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of tech stuff that Kay does that I'm like, hey, I want to learn this stuff. Like, let's double up. And so I am I do production on things now. And originally I didn't. And Kay was trying to run production and GM and do all these other things all at the same time. And now Kay can sit on the couch with a cat for some of our games. And so just like I learned production, I'm really looking forward to learning new stuff. Like I've got 50 tabs open right now, including how to make your own overlay, how to write a program for your own player.
Can you just let me teach you how to do an overlay? You got me. I'll show you how to do it.
Precisely, and that's my point. To be clear, to be fair, like a couple months ago, you were deep in the trenches.
That's fair.
And focused.
That's fair.
Herb has a thing on their streamer bot that has all of the people who've commented and liked and subscribed and people who watched, and I'm looking into how to duplicate that. There's just a bunch of other tech stuff that and podcasting and sound editing and video editing. There are all these different aspects of the production side of it and the post-production side of it that I'm very interested to really dip my toes into, just because if for no other reason than one, it's me learning new things, but also it expands our capacity at Chaotic Wholesome Presents to do a bunch of stuff, and even if it's just freeing K up, or if Kay is producing one thing and I'm producing another thing and we're doing it at the same time, I don't have to go, Kay, stop what you're doing and then build this thing out. I can do it and vice versa. So I'm looking forward to all that stuff.
Excellent. All right, let's wrap it up then. And so, Chaotic Wholesome presents Kay and David. Kay, where can people find you?
You can find me. I know this is going to be shocking. You can find me at Chaotic Wholesome Presents. We have it. It's .com. It's CW_ on Twitter because character limits are BS and can bite me. But we're all over it, either Chaotic Wholesome Presents, except Twitter, where it's CW_ presents. Because, you can find me at KDamnPhyr, KAYDAMPHYR, across the internet. We're going to go play Baldur's Gate after this. And you can find us doing the Table Talk Show every Tuesday, where we talk all things TTRPGs and Candlestick Crimes right now. And I've got a lot of other stuff coming out, y'all. I've got a Pathfinder 2e. I've got a 5e game. I've got, what's the other thing I'm doing? The other one's a home game now, so that one I don't have to plug. Yep. A lot's going on. Emergency Power Podcast, just a homebrew Starfinder game, is going on. There's a lot happening, and if we are trying to get back in the saddle of building out a thing and playtesting some more. So if you are interested in playtesting an unannounced secret system that is really fun, hop into our Discord and we will be happy to do that. You can find that at cataclysmpresents.com. Thank you, DC. You are wonderful.
Thank you. David?
Technically you can find me shitposting at Full Rubber Ducky on Twitter. I have occasional spicy takes about things like British people eating American food, but definitely follow our Discord. Even if you aren't playtesting stuff, we have a really great community. Every time I click on Discord, there's something like new and interesting and funny. People are really supportive, and we are really fortunate that we have such a supportive and engaged community. Also follow our Patreon, because we will be releasing more free stuff for you to check out in the coming months. And I want you to be there for it and not miss any of it.
All right, y'all. Follow both Kay and David. They're excellent people. Check out Chaotic Wholesome Presents. They're doing amazing things. And I'm DC. I put all this together for y'all. You can find all my stuff, dclasair.com. It's all the links to my charity streams that I've done and how to email me. It's all there. And if you want to hire me for something, because I'm hireable.
You will not regret it. Producer to the stars, get yourself
Producer
one.
to the stars, exactly. You can email me and we can talk. And yeah, I think that's it. I will be back Monday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. I am playing a video game called, I keep forgetting the name of it. Let me look. Secrets of Grindia, or Grindia. I'm not sure what the pronunciation on that is. It's a fun JRPG style game. So come by, check out more of that. Yesterday I did some Hades 2, so if you're interested in Hades 2, check out the VOD from yesterday. I will edit this down a bit and put it up on my YouTube in the Tech Friday category sometime this weekend when I have time. And yeah, thank you all for being here on another amazing Tech Friday. Thank you, Kay and David. And we will see you all later. Go check out K Home Presents. They're doing stuff on their channel.
Go vote on the Crit Awards.
Go vote on the Crit Awards.
Yeah, go vote on the Crit Awards.
Do all those things.
People.
All right. We'll see you all later. Thanks for being here. We are going to go on raid, so please stay tuned for that. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we'll talk to you all later. Bye.